Hello everyone and welcome back to Milo Farms. Well, today we're going to be doing an oil change and checking the fluids on a 2003 Dodge Ram 2500. It has the 5.9 Cummins turbo diesel in it. This one's got about 90,000 miles on it. It's got the automatic transmission. So we'll go ahead and get started here. Just kind of going through everything. Things you might want to check: you've got the windshield fluid. You can see right there where it's at. Got the coolant right here. It's got a max line and a min line down there. It's this red, you can see. Looks like that one's all right. Then over here you've got the brake fluid. It's got a full line, and then right behind here it's got an add line, so we're all right there. Right down here is the power steering fluid. I already checked that. You just twist it, take the little dipstick out, wipe it off, stick it back in, and pull it out again. Then you've got the engine oil right here. That's where you check that. We're going to go ahead and crack this a little bit to get some vent in when we drain the oil. Over here you've got this little air filter minder thing that'll indicate how often or when the air filter should be changed. This one here looks like it's about 35% used, I guess it is. So it's actually a brand new filter right from the dealership here about 2 months ago. So I know it's just fine. I usually change my filter about once a year, and I really only put about maybe 5,000 miles a year on the truck. I usually change the filter just in the fall. And then lastly over here, you've got the transmission fluid, and on the dipstick it indicates that you want the thing to be in neutral and the engine idling to do the check on that fluid. You pull the dipstick out, wipe it off, stick it back in, pull it out, and then you can check the fluid right there. Then obviously underneath you've got the front and rear axle that you can check the fluid in that periodically. As long as I don't see a leak or something, I don't check that more than probably once a year on this. Really only honestly do an oil change about once a year, usually in the fall. So right here on top of the engine, that's where the engine oil is going to go, and it says on there, see the owner's manual for the oil specification. Here's the oil I use. It takes 12 quarts, so there's 3 1-gallon jugs in this box. I ordered it off Amazon. This here is the Shell Rotella, the synthetic blend technology oil. They have a regular Shell Rotella 1540, which is it's cheaper, but doesn't have any of the synthetic stuff in it. And I'm not really one to debate one way or the other. I've just had better luck with this synthetic blend. It seems like it starts better when it's cold. Not that this truck's ever had an issue starting when it's cold, but it just seems like it starts easier. Then I just saw the other day, they also had a full synthetic oil out now, which was like a T6 or something was the rating it said on the box. But the price for that I thought was a little prohibitive at this point. Then we've got the Fleet Guard filter right here on top as well that we're going to use. So we'll go ahead and get started. I've already got the truck warmed up, so we're going to climb under there and pull the oil drain plug out. Okay, so we are down under the truck. And you can kind of see here's the bottom of the engine. And right there, right where I'm pointing with my wrench, that is the drain plug for the engine oil. Then the pan right behind it, where the ratchet's pointing, that's the pan for the transmission. Then where that cross member is back there that you can see, that's the 4-wheel drive transmission, is up in there somewhere. It's hard to tell. I think it's just a little bit behind that. And then you can see right here, obviously we have the front differential and the back differential way back there. So we'll go ahead and see what we can do here. Like I said, this engine holds 12 quarts of oil. So once you've opened it, there's some oil that comes out quite substantially. So you need to have a pan. Make sure you have a pan that's big enough, ready to take all that oil. And it uses this 3/8 inch ratchet right here. So we got that loosened up. If you're doing this on a hot day, you want to make sure that you don't burn yourself with this oil, but today this engine is just barely warmed up. I just had it sitting here idling to get the oil stirred up. And we'll go ahead and pull this drain plug out. So there it comes. Set that. Oh, I guess I dropped it in the dirt, so we'll have to wipe it off. So we're going to go ahead and let that drain. I'm going to climb out and get a rag to clean this drain plug off that I dropped in the dirt. And we'll check back on it in a second. Okay, so we got this oil pretty much down to just a dribble coming out of here. I got the oil drain plug all cleaned up, so we're gonna go ahead and stick it back in. That guy threaded in, then we'll use our rag and we'll just wipe this area up just so it doesn't dribble anywhere. Get our wrench. Go ahead and make sure we got this thing tight. Again, you want it tight, but you don't want it overkill because you don't want to strip out that pan and have to figure out if you can pull that pan off or not, or fix that. So don't want to get into that. So now we're going to climb back up on top. Alright, so I seriously think this next part is the hardest part of this whole oil change on this truck. It's not that the oil filter is difficult to get to because it's right there, but it's getting it out and getting it back in without making a big mess and without getting dirt on top of the new filter. So we'll see if we can get this thing loose, which sometimes it's pretty tough. So there we go, we got that guy coming out. And this thing is a big filter and it's gonna have a lot of oil in it. As you can see, just went everywhere. As soon as you tip it, it's gonna dump some more. So there's the filter. Get it out of here and get it over into our drain pan. Put that filter right there in that drain pan and just let that thing dump. Okay, so now we got our new filter here. We're gonna go ahead and coat that rubber gasket with just a little bit of oil to help it seal up. Okay, so this right here, as far as I'm concerned, is the worst part of it. I don't even know if you can see with the camera right there is where the thing goes up in there. So what we have to do is we have to get the filter in there, get it down like this, straighten it up, get it up there without touching this clean part of the filter on any of the frame or any of that business in there that's covered in dirt. And it's the middle of winter right now, so the frame is covered in all kinds of things you don't want to get inside of the motor. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can do this and see if we can get it on film. Alright, so there we go. So I got it moved up, so I'm holding on to the bottom of it now. I can put it up and I can actually feel the nut right there, or the bolt, I guess it is basically, that it's screwing onto. And I'm going to just thread it on and tighten it up as tight as I can get it hand tight. Don't want to really horse this thing on there, because if you do, you'll never get it back off again without getting a special wrench or something. So there we go, got it good and hand tight. I'll get my rag, wipe up a little bit of my mess up in here. Okay, check that, it's good and tight. Wipe up some of the oil I got splattered everywhere here. So there we go. You can see it's up in there. Wipe down, everything's put in. Okay, so we got the filter in, we got the plug back in. We've already checked all the other fluids in the vehicle. So we're gonna go ahead and take this cap off right here. And we're gonna go ahead and put 12 quarts of this oil that I showed you previously in there. I don't know if it matters or not, but I always like to shake up the bottle of oil before I put it in, just in case any of the friction stuff in it has settled out to the bottom or anything like that. Again, it's the Shell Rotella T5 synthetic blend. This is not the full synthetic version that they have now. This is the partial synthetic. I get this from Amazon. It comes in a 3-gallon box. Now we'll go ahead and see if we can get this in here without making a big old mess. So there's the first gallon. Wipe up a little of this spill that I made before it runs down. Okay, we got all 3 gallons put in there. Go ahead and wipe this down around here, any spills that we had. Make sure the cap's back on tight. tighten it up and it clicks right there. Wipe this up. That oil that you spill could get down on the manifold and start to smoke a little bit, so you want to clean that up. So now we're going to go ahead and start it. We're going to watch the oil pressure gauge and make sure we have oil pressure. And we'll let it idle for just a minute, and then we'll check the oil. Okay, so we let it idle for just a minute, let the filter fill back up and the oil kind of settle down. And we're going to go ahead and check it here. And we can see right there, that's the add, that's the fill, and we're right about here. And it's actually probably a little bit higher than that because I did it really quickly. Didn't even let the engine have a chance to settle the oil back down. So we should be in good shape. We're going to go ahead and take all this old oil and filter. We're going to take that over and get it recycled at the hazardous waste place. We'll get all of our trash thrown away and everything should be good. So I hope everybody enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time here at Milo Farms. Please like, comment, subscribe.